Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey of balancing out my hormones. In 2020, I walked away from a toxic business partnership that was not bringing me joy, it was not bringing me money, and it was sucking my soul dry. And when I went to my business partner and I asked to, basically take a step back, I was met with a lot of toxic reactions. I don't even know how to explain it. I was basically thrown out of the business establishment that we were inside of. It wasn't his business, but he made a huge scene, and he ended up throwing me around on social media, and it brought me intense anxiety. And prior to that, I was already stressed out. I was already working more than I should have been working. I was juggling working this business. I was juggling being a mom and a wife, and I was homeschooling my kids. I had a 1-year-old at home, and to say my stress levels were at an all-time high is an understatement. And what ended up happening over the next couple months is I ended up putting on some weight. Here I am, I'm a weight loss coach, and I help people get their energy back and lose weight. And here I'm emotionally eating. I am not taking care of myself. I'm not getting in my workouts. This is the start of COVID, just when everything started to shut down. And so all of a sudden we weren't able to get out to the parks and go on walks and stuff like we had been. And I ended up gaining 40 pounds. And I decided, okay, I know what to do. I know how to lose weight. I'm going to clean up my diet. I'm going to start working out. And no matter what I did, it didn't work. I was working out. I tried working out more. I worked out less. This is not my first rodeo. I've been through adrenal fatigue before, and I recovered pretty easily just by cleaning up my diet and moving my body more. However, everything I tried just wasn't working. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to slow down. I'm not going to work out. I'm just going to focus on my stress levels and sleep. And this is like April-ish. And by September, things just hadn't changed at all. And I started looking outside to a professional. And I went to a doctor that specializes in women's hormone. And she became highly recommended by someone I trusted online. And she was in my local area. And we did a full test. We got blood work done, and she did a Dutch test, which is like a 24-hour hormone testing where you pee on a stick and every 3 or 4 hours, and it tests where your hormone levels are throughout the day over a 24-hour period. So here are the results. The results was right where I thought it was. So at the time I went to her, I said, I don't know if I'm in perimenopause. I don't know what's going on, but I'm having mood swings. I'm yelling at my kids for the littlest things. I have no energy. I'm tired all the time. I gained all this weight. I can't lose it. And so what she ended up finding was so I wasn't producing melatonin like I should. So my melatonin was super low, which is why I couldn't stay asleep at night. My cortisol was super high. So cortisol usually, it spikes around 5 or 6 in the morning. And this is your cue to wake up, the day is starting. And then by 2 or 3 o'clock, you would have this. It slowly winds down to where after like 3 or 4 o'clock, it's like you have almost no cortisol. And this is your body's way of like letting you know the day is about done. The sun is going to be coming down. It's time to unwind and it's time to start relaxing and getting ready for bed. However, my cortisol was spiking up at 9 p.m. at night, which is why I couldn't go to sleep. And then I had no melatonin, so I couldn't stay asleep either. And my progesterone was super low also, which made it seem like my estrogen was high. My estrogen actually wasn't high. It's just because of my lowered progesterone. And something about my adrenals were already like super taxed, and she could see that I needed more support in that area too. So she put me on some supplements. I have been taking a B complex. I have been taking an adrenal support, and I've been taking something else that is going to help my progesterone go up. So I am overdue right now. I need to get retested to see where my levels are and see if what she has me on is actually helping. She's also suggested intermittent fasting, which I've done a little bit, I've dabbled a little bit, but I haven't been super consistent with. But I had a breakthrough. So a couple episodes ago, I gave you a life update, and I talked about I went on this detox. And I went on this 3-day detox, and I felt so much better. My brain fog was lifted. Okay, so let me back up. The supplements that she had me on did help. So my mood swings are gone. My energy is up. I don't have like these rage out sessions against my kids. However, my sleep is still affected. I'm still not sleeping like I should be. And so I went on this 3-day detox. I cut out caffeine, alcohol, gluten, sugar, dairy, and I slept better. The brain fog was lifted. All of a sudden, I didn't feel so addicted to my phone, which is super weird. I was less bloated. I just felt better. So I have continued on this where I have continued to not eat dairy, and I'm doing my best to not eat gluten. I would say gluten it was an addiction for me for a really long time. I grew up on pasta. I grew up in a meat and potatoes kind of family, and bread was a staple, as was pasta, because it was cheap, and we didn't have a lot of money for healthy food whenever I was growing up. I don't ever remember us having fresh fruit. I don't really remember even fresh vegetables. It was either in a can or it came from my grandma's garden, which she canned herself. So gluten has been super hard for me to give up, but I have stayed the course over the past few weeks, and I will say I am feeling so much better. I've seen improvements to my digestion. I've seen huge improvements to my energy. I'm sleeping better. And so I just wanted to give that update. And so I am going to be going back to the doctor soon, and I can't wait to see just to tell her about the improvements I've made. And I know my lab results. I'm excited to see what my lab results actually produce. And my sleep is still not perfect, especially if I'm not taking the supplements I'm supposed to be taking. So I recently did find a new supplement, which I absolutely love. It's Soul CBD. I've been taking Soul CBD for a while, but they just came out with a new gummy, and it's got CBD and melatonin in it. and it tastes good. And so I take 1 or 2 of those at nighttime, and I have been able to get so much more sleep. And I definitely notice on the nights I may forget about it. So I'm curious to know, have you ever gone on a detox? You can come over to the Queen Rising podcast. Send me a DM. Let me know if you've been on a detox before and your results, or if you are like me and maybe you're addicted to sugar or gluten, and you've had issues with like emotionally eating, and it's causing other health problems like inability to lose weight or not able to sleep. So send me a DM or screenshot this episode and let me know if you're loving this. Today's episode is brought to you by the Self-Care Rituals. If you are needing a little bit more self-care, a little bit more self-love, and the traditional methods are just not working for you, I would love to invite you to take the Self-Care Rituals course. And it's a mini course that customizes your self-care routine based on your astrological birth chart. We look at what motivates you, what brings you joy, what helps you feel loved, and what is going to fill your cup every day, and how can you customize and work those things into your everyday life experience so that you are filled up every day and you can give your best to all the other areas of your life. You can find access to this on my website, and I will leave the link in the bio, in the show notes.